Imagine a country where the ancient and the living exist in the same breath, where Islamic palaces built by caliphs 1,000 years ago stand in perfect preservation beside Gothic cathedrals that took 3 centuries to complete, where the evening begins at 10 at night and nobody considers this unusual, where the food is not just sustenance but ceremony, the jam sliced at the bar, the pinchos arranged on the counter, the paella at the Sunday table that takes longer to eat than it took to cook, by design. Spain is not just a destination. It is a way of being in the world, unhurried, generous, passionately attached to the specific place it comes from. The Catalan who insists Barcelona is not quite Spain. The Basque whose language predates every other language in Europe. The Andalusian who carries flamenco not as a performance, but as a memory. A country of extraordinary internal variety, held together by a shared sun and a shared conviction that the rest of the world does not quite understand how to live. From the impossible architecture of Güell rising above Barcelona, to the Moorish geometry of the Alhambra glowing in the Granada evening, from the surfside pintxos bars of San Sebastián to the pilgrimage roads of Santiago de Compostela, every corner of this country gives you something that changes the way you see everything that comes after it. This is not just travel. This is wonder. This is your journey through the unforgettable beauty of Spain. Barcelona. Our journey begins in Barcelona, a city that does not consider itself entirely Spanish and does not particularly need you to resolve that question on its behalf. The street signs are in Catalan. The first language in the market is Catalan. The civic pride that fills the city in its architecture, its food, its football, its culture, operates at a frequency entirely its own. And the visitor who arrives expecting a Spanish city finds instead something more specific and more layered than that category contains. Barcelona announces itself through Gaud. The work of Antoni Gaud is distributed through the city in buildings of such singular vision that they require their own category, not modernisme, not organic architecture, not religious art, but all of these simultaneously, and none of them adequately. The city of Barcelona is the only place on earth where a single architect's imagination has shaped the experience of an entire metropolis. And the result is a city that looks like nowhere else in the world, and that every visitor recognizes immediately from the photographs and still finds extraordinary in person. The Gothic quarter sits at the city's oldest heart, its narrow medieval lanes, too dark and too close for the sun to reach at street level. Its Roman walls embedded in the medieval buildings that grew around them. Its cathedral rising above the rooftops in the particular darkness of a Gothic church that has been absorbing the prayers of this neighborhood for 7 centuries. At night, the Gothic quarter fills with the city's social life, the bars and the restaurants, and the people moving between them in the warm air of a Mediterranean evening that the buildings on both sides hold like a corridor of heat. The waterfront of Barcelona, the Barceloneta beach, the Port Olympic, the Barceloneta neighborhood with its seafood restaurants and its morning joggers connects the city to the Mediterranean that gave it its reason for existing in the first place. La Sagrada Família. Basílica de la Sagrada Família rises above the Barcelona skyline in towers that were not there a generation ago and will not be complete for years to come. Antoni Gaudí began work on it in 1883 and devoted the last 43 years of his life to it. He was killed by a tram in 1926 and buried in the crypt of the church he did not finish. Construction continued. It is still continuing. The 18 towers that will eventually crown the building the tallest, reaching 172 meters, making it the tallest church in the world upon completion, are being built from stone and computer modeling and the accumulated interpretation of Gaudí's surviving drawings and plaster models, most of which were destroyed in the Spanish Civil War. From the street below, the fades of the Sagrada Família are overwhelming in their detail. The Nativity fade on the eastern side, covered in stone figures of such density and such narrative complexity that the eye moves across it for minutes without finding the edge of the story. The Passion fade on the western side, angular and stark, its figures angular and stripped of the organic warmth of the Nativity side, the suffering of the crucifixion rendered in a geometry of grief. Inside, the columns branch at their capitals like the canopy of a stone forest god's study of tree structures, producing pillars that divide and subdivide upward to the vaults above, flooding the nave with colored light through stained glass of such saturated beauty that standing inside the church on a clear morning feels, regardless of faith, like being inside something that was built by a person who understood what the word transcendent meant and had decided to build it in stone. Park Güell, high on the hillside of the Carmel Hill above Barcelona, Antoni Gaudí's Park Güell opens over the city in a composition of mosaic and column in organic form that combines the function of a public park with the ambition of a private mythology. The monumental zone at the heart of the park, the dragon staircase ascending through the entrance gate, the hypostyle hall of 86 Doric columns below, the great terrace above it lined with the serpentine ceramic bench that curves around the hilltop in a continuous wave of broken tile, is Gaudí at his most publicly generous, a space designed for the city to inhabit rather than for the client to possess. The bench, the banc de trinquets, is covered in a mosaic of ceramic fragments in every color, arranged in patterns of abstract complexity that the curves of the seating surface make three-dimensional. From the terrace, the full panorama of Barcelona spreads below the Gothic quarter, the example grid, the Barceloneta and the sea, the Sagrada Família visible to the east with its cranes still above it. It is the view that Gaudí designed the terrace to provide, and it has been providing it since 1926. La Rambla, La Rambla runs from the Plaça de Catalunya to the Columbus Monument at the port, a tree-lined promenade of 1,200 meters through the heart of Barcelona, its central pedestrian path wide enough to hold the full social life of the city simultaneously. Street performers occupy marked positions along the Rambla, living statues, musicians, portrait artists, The flower stalls whose perfume carries across the whole width of the boulevard in the morning when the blooms are freshest. The cafe terraces on both sides fill from mid-morning and do not empty until the last of the night has gone. The Boqueria market opens from La Rambla's western side in an explosion of color and smell and the particular noise of a covered market in full operation. The fish vendors calling across the central aisle, the juice bar blenders running continuously, the mushroom stalls displaying varieties that have no common English name, the ham legs hanging from the ceiling of the specialist vendors at the market's quieter rear sections. Madrid does not charm you immediately. It gives you nothing on arrival, no harbor, no Eiffel Tower, no single image that the city reduces to. What Madrid gives instead is everything, gradually over several days, and then all at once, in the way that a person reveals their best qualities only after you have been paying attention long enough to notice them. The Prado is where Madrid's surrender begins. The collection of Velázquez and Goya and El Greco assembled in the Prado's long stone galleries is one of the most concentrated accumulations of masterwork painting anywhere on Earth. Velázquez's Las Meninas stops most visitors completely a painting about looking, about who watches whom, about the painter and the viewer and the king and the canvas, all present in the same room, 3.5 centuries ahead of the philosophy that would eventually find the language to describe what it is doing. Goya's black paintings, transferred from the walls of his farmhouse after his death, are the work of a man painting his private nightmares in a house by the river, among the most disturbing and most honest images in the history of art. The Plaza Mayor, completed in 1619, its colonnaded arcades enclosing the rectangular space on all 4 sides, has hosted royal celebrations, bullfights, markets, and the daily life of the city for 4 centuries without interruption. The calf terraces inside the arcades are overpriced, and the waiters know it. You pay it anyway, because you are sitting inside a 17th century theater of civic life, and the price of the seat is part of the experience. Plaza Mayor. The Plaza Mayor is the living room of Madrid, built in 1619 under Philip III, whose equestrian statue stands at the center of the square on a plinth that the pigeons of Madrid have been decorating for 3 centuries. The plaza is enclosed on all 4 sides by the uniform Baroque facades of its residential buildings, the ground floor arcades, sheltering the cafes and the restaurants and the souvenir shops from the sun and the rain equally. The 9 gateways that lead into the plaza from the surrounding streets were designed to control entry in the days when the square served as an arena for public spectacle, the bullfights, and the royal ceremonies, and the autos d'off of the Inquisition that the stone floor absorbed and the surrounding walls witnessed. Seville. The train south from Madrid crosses 400 kilometers of flat sun-bleached plateau before Andalusia announces itself, the olive groves appearing, the sky deepening, the light shifting from northern white to something older and more amber. And then Seville, the Giralda Tower rising above the rooftops, the Guadalquivir River shining, and the immediate sense of a city that operates by entirely different rules from anything north of the Sierra Morena. The Cathedral of Seville is the largest Gothic cathedral in the world. It was built on the site of the Great Almohad Mosque in 1401, with the declaration preserved in the chapter meeting minutes that they intended to build a church so large that those who saw it finished would think the builders were mad. The building covers more floor space than Notre Dame and Westminster Abbey combined. Christopher Columbus is buried here, his remains in a tomb carried by 4 stone kings representing the medieval kingdoms of Spain, the restlessness of his interments matching the restlessness of his voyages. The real Alcázar, the royal palace built in the 14th century by Pedro I, its interiors decorated by Muslim craftsmen in the Nasrid style of Granada, is the finest surviving example of Mujar architecture in the world. The tile work, the carved plaster work, the cedar ceilings, the gardens of orange trees and fountains, all of it produced by craftsmen working in an Islamic tradition for a Christian king who loved Islamic art too completely to commission any other kind. The evenings of Seville belong to flamenco, the cantejando of the Triana tablaos, the guitar and the voice and the dancer whose feet on the wooden stage produce a sound that arrives in the chest before the ears have processed it. Granada and the Alhambra. Drive east from Seville into the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, and Granada appears in the valley below the Alhambra on its red hill above the city, its towers and battlements visible against the mountain behind. The snow on the Sierra Nevada peaks behind them. This is one of the great approach views in Spain, the palace on the hill, the city below it, the mountain above both, and it has looked essentially like this since the 14th century. The Alhambra is the finest achievement of Islamic architecture in the Western world. The Nasrid palaces at its heart were built by the last Islamic dynasty on the Iberian Peninsula, the Kingdom of Granada, which endured until 1492, and the Court of the Lions at their center is the room that the Alhambra is known for, and that the photographs do not prepare you for. 124 slender marble columns surrounding the central fountain of 12 stone lions, the carved honeycomb plasterwork dissolving every surface into geometry. The light coming through the lattice screens at angles that change through the day and change the room with them. The Arabic inscription that runs through every room of the Nasrid palaces repeats a single phrase: "There is no conqueror but God." The Nasrids wrote it on their walls because they needed to believe it. In 1492, the last Nasrid Sultan handed the keys of the Alhambra to Ferdinand and Isabella and left through the pass in the mountains to the south. The Alhambra has been receiving visitors ever since 700 years of human attention directed at something that was built for God and has been witnessed by everyone. Toledo, an hour south of Madrid, the train delivers you to Toledo. And Toledo delivers you to a landscape that the word medieval does not adequately describe, because medieval implies something past, in Toledo is entirely present. The city rises on a granite promontory, surrounded on three sides by the gorge of the Tajo River, its skyline of towers and domes, visible from the approach road, as a composition unchanged in its essentials for 5 centuries. Toledo was the city of three cultures, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish, for 3 centuries, when the coexistence of those traditions was not an aspiration, but an architectural fact. The Gothic Cathedral, the Mosque of Cristo de la Luz, the Synagogue of Santa Marla Blanca, all three still standing, within walking distance of each other, in streets that the three communities shared before the Inquisition ended what had been built. El Greco came to Toledo in 1577, hoping to paint for Philip II. The king rejected his work. El Greco stayed for the remaining 37 years of his life and painted the city repeatedly, its stormy sky, its light, its towers, in a style so specific to this place that the paintings and the city cannot be understood apart from each other. The burial of the Count of Orgaz in the Church of Santo Tom, where it was painted and where it remains, is his masterwork. Mallorca. In the middle of the Western Mediterranean, 90 minutes by air from Madrid, the island of Mallorca rises from the sea in the arc of the Serra de Tramuntana along its northwestern coast, limestone mountains descending directly to the water in cliffs and coves and small harbors that the road above them connects in a sequence of views that constitute finest coastal scenery in the Mediterranean. The mountains are old and severe and forested with holm oak and Aleppo pine, and the villages built into their slopes, Valdemosa de Sler, have the particular beauty of places that the mountain has shaped and that the sea below has always justified. Palma de Mallorca sits on the southwestern bay of the island, its Gothic cathedral rising directly from the seafront in one of the most dramatic coastal building situations in Spain. Its rose window, one of the largest in the world, its interior lit by the afternoon sun coming through the southern windows in a quality of light that the cathedral seems designed to collect and concentrate. The old quarter of Palma behind the cathedral, its limestone palaces and its courtyard houses, and its Arab baths from the 10th century still intact below a medieval street, is the most architecturally dense quarter of any Spanish island city. The Cap de Formentor at the island's northern tip, its lighthouse, on a cliff above the sea. The road winding through the mountains in hairpin bends is the dramatic extreme of an island that contains the full range of Mediterranean landscape. Santiago de Compostela. At the end of the road, in the green hills of Galicia, Santiago de Compostela receives the pilgrims. They arrive having walked the Camino, the ancient route from the French border, 1,000 kilometers of road and mountain and Galician rain, and the moment they see the twin Baroque towers of the cathedral filling the sky is the moment that 30 days of walking was pointed toward. The Plaza del Obradoiro in front of the cathedral is one of the great public spaces in Europe, vast, perfectly proportioned, surrounded by the arcades of the Hostal dos Reis Católicos on the north side and the Pazo de Roxua on the south, the cathedral filling the eastern end. Pilgrims arrive at this square in every condition, blistered, exhausted, elated, weeping, silent, and sit on the stone with their packs still on their backs and look at the cathedral towers and allow the arrival to become real. The cathedral itself has been receiving pilgrims since the 12th century. The Portico de Gloria, the carved portal by Master Matteo, completed in 1188, its figures among the finest Romanesque sculpture in existence, greets every visitor as it has greeted every pilgrim for 8 centuries. The pilgrims who have walked the Camino receive the Compostela, the certificate of completion, in the pilgrim office nearby. They sit with it for a moment. Then most of them cry, without entirely knowing why. San Sebastián, at the Bay of Biscay, where the Pyrenees meet the Atlantic, San Sebastián Donostia in Basque presents itself as the most beautiful small city in Spain and is not immediately contradicted. The Concha Bay, its perfect horseshoe of white sand framed by 2 headlands, and the island of Santa Clara at its center, is the finest urban beach in Spain. The Part Vieja, the old quarter at the eastern end of the bay, is where the pinso culture of the Basque country is at its most concentrated. Bar after bar along the Calle 31 de Agosto and the surrounding streets, each one's counter loaded with small preparations of extraordinary sophistication: anchovy on bread, salt cod with piquillo pepper, foie gras with a reduction that took hours eaten standing, with a glass of tisacoli poured from a height to aerate it. San Sebastián has more Michelin stars per capita than any other city in the world. The starred restaurants are real, and the meals in them are genuinely extraordinary. But the Pinso Bar is where the city eats the communal. Standing, glass in hand, next bar in 10 minutes culture of the Parte Vieja that operates every evening at a volume and an energy that the formal restaurant cannot replicate. The Peña del Viento Eduardo Chilida's 3 steel sculptures anchored into the rock at the base of the western headland, the waves breaking around them, the wind through their forms producing sounds that change with the weather, is the artwork that the city has placed at its most exposed point as a statement about what art and landscape and the Atlantic can do when they are put in the same frame. Spanish food. The Spanish table does not hurry. Lunch is the serious meal beginning at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, consisting of multiple courses, and expected to occupy the table for at least 2 hours. Sobremesa, the conversation that continues after the plates are cleared, the wine still in the glass, nobody moving toward the door, is the meal's last course, the part that the Spanish consider the point of gathering. There is no English word for it because English-speaking cultures do not reliably observe it. The jam Ibrico de Beuta, the cured ham from the black Iberian pig that has spent its final season eating only acorns in the oak woodland of Extremadura, is sliced from the leg at the bar in sheets of burgundy and gold, the fat at its edges marbled and fragrant. It is the finest cured meat in the world, and eating it at a marble bar in Madrid or Seville with a glass of manzanilla sherry is the most specifically Spanish pleasure available to any visitor. Gazpacho cold from the earthenware bowl in August. Patatas bravas with the sauce exactly right. Gambas al ajillo still sizzling in the cazuela when it arrives. The tortilla española that every Spaniard believes their mother makes better than any other in Spain. And always the olive oil poured over everything, used for everything. The liquid gold of Andalusia that begins every meal and ends every conversation about what makes Spanish food what it is. Spain does not resolve, and that is the point. A country of extraordinary internal variety that makes no apology for its contradictions, the Catalan and the Castilian, the Islamic palace and the Gothic cathedral, the midnight dinner and the midday siesta, the flamenco dancer and the pinso bar. All of it true, simultaneously. All of it Spain. From the impossible stone forest of the Sagrada Família rising above Barcelona to the honeycomb plasterwork of the Alhambra Court of Lions in Granada. Spain reminds us that the most extraordinary journeys are not the ones that take you to the most comfortable places. They are the ones that take you somewhere that refuses to be simple, somewhere that asks you to hold contradictions together, to sit with complexity, to accept that a country this rich and this varied and this old cannot be understood in a single visit. Come back. Spain will still be here. If this journey moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the world is full of wonders, and your next adventure is already waiting to begin.